What's up, YouTube? Connor from Submission Sensei here. For those of you who are new to the channel, we are an AI startup based in the DC area. Our mission is to get you from white to blue belt as quickly as possible, harnessing the power of AI to put a black belt level instructor in your pocket. We are launching a podcast and are absolutely thrilled to have Michael Crow as our first guest. We met Michael in Dallas and were blown away by his story. He's an amputee who's overcome the odds to compete at a super high level in our sport. Awesome guy. We hope that you will enjoy listening to this conversation as much as we enjoyed having it.
All right, welcome everyone. I'm joined with the legend Michael Crow. I had the chance to see Michael compete in Dallas last weekend at the PGF qualifiers, put on an amazing performance. I'm going to dive right into it. So, Michael, for people meeting you for the first time, how do you introduce yourself beyond amputee or athlete?
Well, I guess it just depends on the what is the circumstances we're meeting in. At
Hmm.
work, I'm Michael, your tile guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Like you were telling me you've had a tile business as an entrepreneur for 15 years, right? On top of all
Roughly,
this that
yeah.
you're doing.
Hmm.
Wow, what was it like
Yeah.
when you first got started there? Because we're in the throes of starting something new ourselves. You were giving me a little bit of business and life advice when we first met. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Yeah, when I first started, I was like 15 with my dad, and it was
Hmm.
terrible. Working with your dad is terrible. You're always in
Hmm.
the wrong, doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
And then he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, so I was able to get in with some other people in the area that did tile, and they kind of slowed down, so I just went on my own, and it's
Hmm.
been going pretty well from there. You know,
That's incredible, man. And like now, 15 years later, like what are some of the things you've
my back
learned?
hurts.
Yeah, your back hurts.
My back and my knee hurts. That's what I've learned a lot. But no, even with just in construction or anything, you meet a lot of cool people and different experiences. I've got to travel with work as well, so that makes it
Mm.
fun.
No,
But
no.
learning to be personable, you know,
Mm. Hmm.
'cause, people are trusting you to go in their homes. Sometimes they're not home, and
Hmm.
they're just so being approachable is a big one, and relating to people
Yeah, man. I think that's one
helps.
of yeah, both of us know another grappler, Carlos Vera, right? And we were kind of bonding
Hmm.
over that. And I think, yeah, one of the things I've noticed is like folks that are successful in business and life, they tend to have this really nailed down. They're just really kind, loving people that give more than they take. Carlos is
Hmm.
a good example. Of course, you have BMAC also an incredible example.
Yeah,
Um,
Brandon's awesome.
Brandon is just amazing. And I wonder, like, for you, can you just tell me a little bit about how you first got into training jujitsu and then maybe a little bit about how you were introduced to the PGF?
Well, so this might be a long one. Sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's hear it, man.
I started training around 15, 16 also.
Mhm.
Um, growing up, we haven't got into it yet, but I have one leg. Most people, everyone knows that now, but I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later.
Mhm.
But I was always getting bullied or getting in fights, and I was never very good at fighting, but I enjoyed doing it. So there was mostly a boxing gym in my area, and I started going there, and it just started out mostly as just boxing, and we did very little jujitsu. I had no
Mhm.
interest in jujitsu at the time. I was
Mhm.
like, this is not what men are supposed to be doing, you know. So
Yeah.
so I stuck with boxing for roughly 12 years on and off, just doing that. And then my brain was like, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. So I transitioned into jujitsu more here recently, and probably four, roughly the last 4 years is when I've really been hitting it steadily. And
Mhm.
so I've just been doing that ever since. Kind of gave up on striking, but I did do para kickboxing for Team USA a few weeks ago. Went to Abu
Whoa.
Dhabi and competed in that.
That's crazy. I had
So,
no idea. What was that like, man?
oh, dude, Abu Dhabi is awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. It's the only place I've been out of country, and it was incredible. Definitely different than what the media plays it out to be. It was super awesome over there.
Oh,
We were
that's
there for
that's
about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's so
Mm,
sick. Actually, a couple of the members of our team are from UAE, and they're always telling me like, man, you got to go out there, got to go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi. How is it like
yeah, it's
competing
awesome.
there?
Uh, man, let me think here. It was it was different for sure, especially different comparative to jiu-jitsu. You know,
Hmm.
striking is far different, but they had like 8 mats going, but when you get out there, the whole crowd, the whole stadium's full, so you think everyone's staring at you, but there's
Hmm.
like 8 mats going, so you gotta get over those nerves,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretend that no one's there.
Hmm.
That's like competing for the PGF and all these other shows. You're like, oh man, I just gotta pretend no one's here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I think like Danaher talks about that, right? Like, yeah, if the more that I can get, my students to just treat competition as just another day, like that's the better it's gonna be. But yeah, man, like maybe we can, dive into your kind of story a little bit if you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I ask, yeah, what happened to your leg?
So when I was 10, I had a buddy who was like 13 at the time, and he jumped on trains all the time. He'd jump on them
Mhm,
and jump off. And he was like, "Hey, let's go do that." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Why not? You do it all the time. I'm sure
mhm,
I can." Well, what he didn't tell me was, so we went to like the rock quarry type area where the train comes and
mhm,
picks up rocks and they drive off. So we hid behind the piles and waited for the train conductor to leave. And
mhm,
he ran over there. He grabbed on. He jumped off. He's like, "All right, your turn." So I was like, "Okay." So what he didn't tell me and what my brain didn't process was when you grab the ladder of a train car,
mhm,
you have to keep running. I did not keep
mhm,
running.
mhm, mhm.
So the train kept moving. The train didn't stop for some reason. He should
Yeah,
have stopped.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding. Uh, I grabbed it and then it just sucked me underneath. I'm not sure how it didn't cut off
Wow.
both my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately, I did not go unconscious for all of it. I was awake the whole time.
My goodness.
So
So did you
that was
when at
pretty.
what point did you feel the pain if you don't mind me asking? Like was it
I
like
didn't feel the pain, so I'll just give you the full story.
sure.
Uh, I got hit and I stood up and I seen my buddy and his eyes were just as big as his head. And I remember I was like, it felt like I was in a dream. And I was like, whoa. I remember saying, whoa. And then I went to take a step and I fell. And that's why I have a scar across my forehead here. I hit the train tracks. And then I looked down and I am completely butt naked. Not one bit of clothing on me.
Hmm.
Because, trains have like a suction to them as they're going
Hmm.
by. And they're not, train wheels are not sharp. And
Hmm.
so it didn't really cut my leg off. It cut my foot off, but it
Hmm.
degloved my leg like halfway up
Hmm.
my thigh. So it just ripped all my skin off with my foot. And I
Oh
think that's
my
why it
goodness.
ripped all my clothing off as well. But then the first time I felt pain was when the paramedics finally showed up. And I assume it was my calf muscle, maybe. And he looked at me and he was like, "Hey, this is really gonna hurt." And I was like, "Okay," because my brain wasn't understanding what was going on at the time. And he squeezed it to see if it was still working. And that's when like reality kicked in, like, "Oh wow, this is real." And then after that, it was kind of in and out. And then the last thing I remember is them lifting me onto the helicopter and then waking up in the Children's Hospital in Little Rock.
Oh my God, man. And how old were you again?
10.
10. Oh my goodness, man. That's such a crazy traumatic experience to experience at any age, but you were 10 years old.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I mean, it's amazing to me that like I don't know, man. This is one of the things when I first saw you at the qualifiers, I was just like, fuck, like this man is such an inspiration to me, to anyone else. Like I have so many like, days where I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know, my wrist is hurting. Maybe I should skip training today. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this stupid self-talk, and you're out there, competing, doing these incredible leg locks with one leg, having that crazy experience happen to you when you were 10 years old. I'm just curious, when when you initially like realize like, hey, this is there is a sort of, new normal that you needed to like accustom yourself to, and you were so young at the time. Like, how did you maybe handle those days, or how do you handle those days where like frustration like hits? And maybe this is like not just related to your leg, but also in general, like, during a
Mm,
camp or training for jujitsu. Because I have a feeling that like it's just, folks that compete, in the Paralympics, or folks that are amputees, their mindset is like 10 or 100x times more like gritty and fucking resilient than literally anyone
mm.
else. So I'm just kind of trying to understand that sort of mindset from you.
I was very fortunate that at the time my mom was dating this guy. He raised me forever. They never got married, but he raised me for like 13,
Hmm.
14 years.
It's
And I was
awesome.
very fortunate that he would never give me an excuse. He didn't care that I had one leg. He was
Hmm.
like, I don't care. You're doing it. It doesn't matter, And then also I think I've just been fortunate in general. I've had a lot of good mentors and role models and people who just like wouldn't let me quit because I grew up very poor. So like everyone around me was poor, so you always had to be doing something, you had to make money somehow. So everyone around me always had a work ethic. So I remember the very first person was probably, besides my stepdad Joey, Randy Bain. I remember when I first got my prosthetic, I was real big into skateboarding before all that happened. And one of the neighbor kids was making fun of me and he was like, "Oh, you can never skateboard again." And Randy was like, "I'll tell you what, Michael's going to learn how to do an ollie before you learn how to do a kickflip." And then every single day, all day long, he was just working with me on how to do an ollie. And this has been 20 plus years and I still remember that. That was like one of my core memories of like, okay, I'm never giving up. But for like fighting wise, my coach, well, the head coach, Aaron, his mom had polio when she was a kid. So his whole life she'd been in a wheelchair. So, he always grew up with like she never quit. It didn't matter if she was in a wheelchair, she was going, upstairs, downstairs, they'll get her up there. And so he's been a big part of like building my self-esteem and confidence and stuff. Because when I first started going to the gym, I was really embarrassed of my leg, and that's what started a lot of my problems as a kid. So I was always wearing pants. During the summer, didn't matter. I was wearing blue jeans. And I started going to the gym and he was like, "Man, you can't wear sweats in here. It's far too hot." So I started wearing shorts and then from there he kind of took me under his wing and just built up my confidence slowly and I'm here now. Like I would have never thought I would be competing in front of people with my leg off. And matter of fact, handing it to Heath, to put to the side.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think I've just been really fortunate, to have great people in my life. It's very important that you can find someone to not really look up to, but that can like make sure you stay on track. Like don't give up on yourself. Like I always tell people in the gym, like if I'm with you, I'm with you 100%. Like you're going to give up on you far before I give up on you, you know? And you had one other question in that question. I had an answer to it. I don't remember what you said now.
I
uh
was talking about. I mean, first off, like, can I just? I mean, that resonates with me so much. I mean, like, like we were. I think I may have mentioned to you, like, Um, I have bipolar, right? And like during like the lowest periods of my life, it was the people that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself that helped me kind of realize that I am capable of like more than like other people ex think of me, if that makes sense. It sounds like that's kind
mhm.
of what you were getting at as well. And yeah, I mean, shout out to what was the name? Was that your coach or was that Randy that you were referring
Aaron,
to?
yeah,
Aaron.
Aaron. Mhm.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron. I mean, for believing in you and that and holding you to a higher standard. That's
Yeah, there'd be
incredible.
days that I'd come in and when I was boxing and like uh the way they had to operate on my leg, I was so
Hmm.
young and it was such a urgent thing.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
won't say they did a bad job, because they saved my life, so I'm appreciative of that. So it just the way they put my like stump, nub, I don't know what you want to call it, back together, they left my fibia, one of those on for
Mhm.
why, I'm not real sure, but it kept growing. So like if
Mm.
I back in the day, it was still my skin grafts were still fresh, so my leg would bleed during boxing, and like it'd be so much blood, it'd be like overflowing out of my prosthetic.
Mhm.
And like instead of Aaron being like, "Oh no, just stay home until it heals," I'd like just sit in a wheelchair and hit the heavy bag, or sit in a chair and
Wow.
hit mitts. So like he wouldn't. There was no excuse not to go train. Like even
Mhm.
if you can't stand up, you're still coming in.
That's
But
so amazing.
going back, I finally figured out what you said now. I'm registering now. Um, like the days where I'm having a bad day, like because now I still have bad days. Like I'll wake up and my leg will be hurting, like especially with the weather changing, like the cold hurts it, and if it gets too sweaty, then the gel liner starts sliding, and that makes it uncomfortable and hurts. But what I think to myself is like, there's a million people out there who wish they could walk with pain. You know, there's guys in wheelchairs who are just like, man, I wish I could walk. Like I don't care if it hurts, I'd rather be walking. So I think about that, or like anytime I'm complaining, I'm like, man, there's people far worse out there, which it doesn't negate your issues, of course, but if you always look at your issues, you're going to have a bad day. Like if you always look for the bad, you're going to find the bad. Like every once in a while, Aaron will pull us into the main floor of the gym and be like, look around and find everything red in the room. And then so you look around and he'd be like, okay, tell me what you saw that was blue. And you couldn't because you're only looking for the red. You're never going to find the blue. You know, so it's one of those. If you look for the positive, you'll find the positive. You look for the negative, you're going to find the negative. That's just how it works. You look for a red car, you're going to see a red car every time you drive. And it's just what it is. It's how life works.
Man, that's so beautifully said. I think it reminds me of how, yeah, I think in general, like you attract the same kind of energy you're giving, and if you try to seek the positives, then you're also like giving the positive energy back
Hmm.
out there. And if you seek the
Yeah.
negative, you're almost like giving that sort of negative energy back out there, and then feedback kind of feeds itself in both ways. The positive can really spiral you up. The negative, seeing it, being it can spiral you down. So,
Hmm.
um, man, I love that. And like I said, like as soon as I saw, I've never seen an amputee compete before. I've seen folks, rolling,
Hmm.
that are amputees, but like as soon as I saw you, compete, and yeah, I think you got your guard passed once, but you're towards the end, you had like a half butterfly guard retention thing that like I know I would have got my ass passed, and like you literally have like better guard retention than fucking me. Of course, I'm a shitty blue belt, but like that was a moment for me, and I was like, hey, you are just. I literally told my co-founder Avi, like, man, what an inspiring individual. And Michael, like when people tell you inspiring, would tell you that you're inspiring, how do you actually feel about that?
Undeserving. I don't, it's weird, like people like we talked a little before in Dallas, like people will message me with different medical conditions and be like, hey, you know, what do you think about this? What can I fix? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. People think, my I can help them, which I feel like I can to an extent, but it feels weird for sure.
Can you talk a little bit about like how you have helped them, have helped folks that have reached out in the past?
Yeah, I've had a few guys that are also missing a leg, and they try and so I think it's important for people like with one leg, you have to play to your dominant side. So mine's my left. That's why I always lay on my right side because I
Hmm.
want people to try and pass to my left. And
Mm,
there's been a few guys who shut me down, so that's unfortunate. But I've had people with cerebral palsy reach out. I've even went and rolled with people with cerebral palsy. Like, and I just do my best to try and understand where their weak spot is and try and get them to stay away from that side if they can force people to move. Because that's kind of what I do when I roll. Like when I'm getting my guard back, I'm trying to force a big movement out of
mm,
them. But when I'm helping people, it's harder off like one conversation because I don't understand how they play the game. You
Hmm.
know, they might not be a counter player like I am. They might try and be far more aggressive, which isn't where I'm at, and that's what cost me the match at PGF. But I do my best to try and help people who reach out. You know, it's nice. It's like a little bit of giving back, you know.
Oh yeah, and I think that's what really life is about, right? Like it's like how can you spread the lessons that you have learned so that other people can have a better time dealing with similar adversities. And it's a big reason why I wanted to chat with you, today. And I wonder, like, is there? I was really curious. I wanted to ask you this question. Is there something about jujitsu that I don't know, like where you have a distinct like advantage, or something where like or somewhere something about jujitsu that maybe became like I don't know, like that
All right,
was that was
there's a train coming. Hold on. There's a
yeah, no
train coming.
worries. No worries.
Ironically, I live next to a train track. All right. Is that loud? Can you hear that?
I actually can't hear that at all. Nope.
Okay, perfect. Then
Yeah.
we're good. So what were you saying again? Sorry.
I was just saying, like, is there anything in general where like maybe being an amputee gives you some sort of edge or anything like that? Certain
I think
situations?
in some positions for sure, like leg entanglements, I think
Hmm.
occasionally I do get an advantage because
Hmm.
it's like depending which spot we're in,
Hmm.
you only have half the counters available than compared to if I had two legs.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
But it
yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
it also goes the other way. Like if I'm in
Hmm.
50-50, it's
Hmm.
much harder for me to defend the inside heel
Mm,
hook than it is for you because you can figure four
interesting.
your feet. I cannot. So I
Right,
have to be
right.
much more proactive when I'm in the leg entanglements.
Gotcha. So like,
Also,
yeah.
truck. I'm very hard to truck. You
Mm,
can't
hmm.
clover leaf me either.
Hmm.
You know, you'll never be able to clover leaf me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't have 2 feet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I do think um, there is like an advantage and disadvantage. I've never really ran into it. Besides one match, one guy got pretty upset that I submitted him, and he was like, "How do I train for a guy with one leg?" And I beat him with a guillotine, so it's not like it was anything that was. Yeah, it's a guillotine. You defend them all the same, you know. Well, to an extent, you defend them all the same. So that kind of blew up a little bit, but he ended up apologizing afterwards. He was just a little upset, which is understandable. But it's not like I'm in there every time I lose. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to beat a guy with two legs? I only have one. And, you know, it's just a terrible mindset. You just sound like a crybaby loser, and no one
Hmm.
likes crybaby losers, you know?
Hmm.
But yes, there is some advantage and some disadvantage. But I think the more I compete, the more I'm going against these high level guys. Like one of the guys from PGF,
Hmm.
he actually has a guy in his gym with one leg, and he was
Mm.
training with him just in case we win against each other. So I think
Wow.
the more my popularity grows, I think the
Yeah.
the need for amputees is going to grow.
No,
So
that's
everyone out
that's
there, find you a one-legged guy and get him in the gym.
Michael Crow's coming for you, so gotta.
Coming. Find
That's
you an
awesome,
amputee, get him good.
man. That's awesome, man. And I wonder, like, obviously, you played around with the app, and you had some pretty awesome things to say about it, which is great. I wanted to get into, maybe a little bit about, teaching and like teaching philosophy or like, the art of learning. Michael, you said you're a brown belt, right?
Yeah.
And obviously pretty dang good. I guess what are your thoughts on like what certain instructors do well and what certain instructors do poorly? Like what makes a good instructor for you?
So the way I learn the best is like being drilling, of course, but I also like the quote unquote ecological approach. I think they go
Hmm.
hand in hand. I think they're both very effective. It just depends on the student's style of learning. Like if you're going to teach me how to do a darce, just show me how to do it and then let me do it. And then once I get it figured out, now start giving some resistance and then more resistance and then go from there like that. Or the way that's how a lot of our classes are is mostly a traditional drilling setting.
Hmm.
It'll be like, okay, we're passing half guard today, and we'll do one pass and then the next sequence from that pass, right? And then maybe the next class will be like a different pass if they stop that pass. And I
Mm-hmm.
really like the way learning that way because of the way I play. I counter play a lot. So if I go to do something and you go to defend it, I want to have an option for that defense. Because, of course, with anything, if you get hit with something you've never seen before, it's much harder to defend. So that's why, like the way I teach, I like to show almost all the options, not at once, but in a sequence like that. Like all the whole week we'll be working, let's say from half guard, all the options that I'm aware of from half guard. And I think
Mm,
that's effective. But I have some buddies down in Conway and he teaches the ecological approach and his guys are
mm.
super good. I've been beat by almost all of his students.
So
So
tell me, yeah, I
whatever they're
guess,
doing is working.
yeah, tell me a little bit about like this eco approach that is kind of taking over jiu-jitsu. I mean, I've seen like at least 2 to 3 gyms in this DMV area pop up that are now doing eco. So
Mhm.
what makes it different? What makes eco different from situational drilling as far as you're aware?
Yeah, truthfully, I'm not super versed on ecological jiu-jitsu, but I think it's more like what I know. Sorry
Hmm.
to everyone out there if I'm killing this, but it's they do uh like it would be like stand up. Let's say they're starting in standing. They'll focus on just getting the inside position the whole time, but there'll be no direction on how to get the inside position. It's just the goal will be get like double unders, but they won't
Mm-hmm.
say get double unders. It'll just be get the inside position, but without any direction on how to do it. So it's basically like a live roll with semi-resistance or full resistance, depending on the gym, I guess, I assume. But like I said, I'm not super versed in it, so I'd hate to offend anybody by not understanding what
Hmm.
they do. Like I said, it's working for these guys in our area because they're super good. Um, yeah, I mean it works for them. Their coach is great. I go down and cross train with them every once in a while, and yeah, they have a great gym. But I've never asked them on how it actually truly
Sure.
works.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we started this AI jiu-jitsu company. It's kind of like almost like an educational company in some ways, right? Because it's hopefully teaching you
Mhm.
how to get from white belt to blue belt as quickly as possible. I guess, yeah, Michael, I'm curious, like, what made you kind of open to partnering with us? Like, what were your general impressions on the app when we kind of showed it to you? And yeah, what kind of impact do you hope it creates for white belts?
I think it was awesome. It honestly, when you first showed it to me, when you first started talking about it, I was like, this really doesn't make any sense. And then
Hmm.
you showed me on your phone, and I was like, and you let me use it for a little bit, and I was like,
Hmm.
wow, this is actually really interesting. It's very descriptive too. It's not just like a basic like you type in like, oh, hey, how do you do a darce? And it's like, do this. It's like you have a video, you have text instructions, and then you have your little gifts, I guess you would call them, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it shows you what it should look like as you're doing it. And it was really good instruction, detailed instruction on how to do it. And as a white belt, it'd be super beneficial, like we spoke before. Like, let's say you're having trouble in class defending a darce, so you go home and you're like, you can get on the app, like, hey, how do you defend a darce? So you look at that, you study it, and then the next day you can get a training partner like, hey, put me in a darce, let me try this. And then you can go from there and then move on to the next step. I think it'd be super beneficial.
No, that's
Really,
awesome,
not
man.
even for white belts or blue belts. I think anyone could benefit from it, because there's a lot of black belts who've unlearned the basics.
Yeah, it's a good point, Michael. I feel like we were hearing this a lot from obviously, we're partnered with BMAC, and so a lot of folks we spoke
Mm.
speak with are really, really good at leg locks, right?
Right.
So a lot of what they're saying is like, hey, if you're maybe you either train at a more old school gym or you have that sort of lineage and you're a gym owner at one of those maybe more traditional gyms, this could be a really good way to learn what we were talking about, how to get into 50-50 from K guard and get to the
Hmm.
back, all these more fancy positions.
Right. I thought it was awesome. I think, like I said, I don't think it's just white and blue belts. I think it could benefit a lot of people because there's still some stuff that I get stuck on and I'm like, hmm. And like my coach, he'll be, doing other things. So it'd be beneficial to look at the app and then show him and be like, how can we do this for a
Hmm.
one leg guy? You know? So then we
Hmm.
go from there.
Yeah, I think like the other kind of direction we were taking this app, Michael, was we talked a little bit about this coaching marketplace, but
Hmm.
we wanted to we're also actually looking at video feedback. So the next like 2, 3 months, Michael, are going to be really focused on upload a video of you training and then,
Hmm.
get feedback on the video. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, how could what are some of the best ways that this could be useful for not like a white belt, but maybe like like a white belt's coach or, mentor, someone that can like if we design this sort of platform um, to deliver feedback to like a brown belt or a black belt that's maybe, reviewing a bunch of footage from competition from, the white belts that look up to them. Like
Hmm.
how would that sort of what sorts of things do you think we could try to add or think about?
Like for the coach that's watching the videos.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm, I'm sorry, that confused me a little bit. My
It's all
brain is
good.
like, wait a second. So one more time. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Maybe.
basically what I'm saying is like, you know, obviously the like the white belt that uploads a video and gets feedback from the AI can review and can review the feedback. But I feel like sometimes, especially if you're like really new, you almost like don't really know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
maybe there's a world where it's like the feedback is like human led, AI assisted, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
now I'm understanding. Now I'm
yeah,
understanding.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great also because the let's say though a white belt uploads his video, even if even if it's not human led, it's just let's say AI based. And like
Hmm.
you said, the white belt might not know what they don't know. So like the AI could tell it something super crazy or
Hmm.
something they never heard of before, and they could maybe just turn around and show their coach from the app like,
Hmm.
hey, this is what this is saying. What do you think? Or you could do the human led, AI assisted, where I don't know how much trouble it'd be to have like a brown or black belt
Hmm.
on your end reviewing footage and then putting in input and then the AI kind of, like you said, helping out. But I think it would be great if you were able to upload your video. Like for me, for instance, like my match with Jamal where I lost the decision,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
upload that and ask, where did I miss the submissions?
Hmm.
Or why wasn't I able to finish the Mikey lock in my second match? What details was I missing? You know, I think that could be super great. And then whatever it feeds back to me,
Hmm.
I could go brainstorm with my coach, like, hey, this is what, you know, an AI that's much smarter than me thought of my match. What do you think on these details?
Oh, that's lovely. I like that a lot. So basically it becomes like hey, these are where like the main like action points happened that require
Mm,
like a deeper dive, either with like, like your coach or maybe, we were talking about this coaching marketplace that's on the app. Maybe that's where it can like feed to that, right?
right. Or going to that real quick, let's say
Mm-hmm.
you have a high level guy on there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have multiple high level guys on there,
Mm-hmm.
multiple
Mm-hmm.
guys, and
Mm-hmm.
people are just uploading their videos and then they can pay or whatever an hourly fee
Mm-hmm.
for a certain coach that they want to use, and then that person can watch it back, and then maybe the AI can assist
Mm-hmm.
the human on like this is what we noticed in the match, and then let's just say for me, for instance, I'll watch it and the AI watches it, and then we kind of both give our feedback to the person who uploaded the video, and
That's
then they could do
interesting. Yeah.
you know, something like that. I think it's super neat. I think there's going to be a big market for it, especially for lower belt guys at first, and then if you can
Hmm.
get the coaching part of it done, I mean, it'd be great.
That seems really
Because
fascinating, man. I like that a lot. Yeah.
because not all because like at the end of the day, every jujitsu person's different. Every person's game is different. Like my main coach is Jason, and he's a real slow, methodical guy, and
Hmm.
that's kind of the way I play my game as well. I try not to do anything fast or sporadic. Like the only
Hmm.
time I'm moving fast is when I grab a submission and I grab it with the intent to do damage.
Hmm.
And that's the same way he is. And that kind of put me at a disadvantage at the PGF, after talking with some people and listening to the commentary. Uh, my first match with Jamal, they had me winning, but the reason they gave it to him was because they said I was moving too slowly. My
Hmm.
movements weren't explosive enough, which is fine, which is great. I mean, the PGF is one of the best promotions out there right now. Like I talked to Travis, and that's what I'm gonna
Hmm.
start working on instead of like it'll still be skillful jujitsu, but just with more explosiveness in it,
Hmm.
work
Hmm.
on some wrestling. But going back to the point I was making is if you could have someone outside of your gym look at it who
Hmm.
maybe you emulate their style a little bit more, like let's say you get Jet Thompson on board or something, and you're trying to emulate his game, he's the guy you want to talk to. Like
Hmm.
if I don't want to be a counter player anymore, I would talk to Mika Gavao or something, someone who's real explosive and
Right.
goes for it.
Yeah, I think it's a really great idea, man. And part of the reason we built this is to make your instruction more personalized. Like, man,
Hmm.
I mean, Michael, I spent like I'm like 5'5", 5'6", like 130, okay, maybe 145. And like, I'm not gonna play close guard. Like it's not, I
Right.
mean, it's not gonna be the
Half
very
guard
best.
bottom.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Deep half or going to X or now I'm playing around with K guard and 50 like I mean or butterfly, right? Like there are other guards that's tailored towards like your age, your level of
Hmm.
flexibility, your attributes. Maybe did you wrestle before? Like all these different things go into the type of game that you should be like messing with. Man, I still remember like it wasn't until I watched a Danaher like half guard instructional where he did just like a random move. Or we went to deep half and then out the back. And then I just by watching that move, I did the move, hit the move in training without even like thinking about it. And then like I was
Hmm.
like, holy crap, jujitsu is actually fun. I'm not just getting my guard broken past in an Americana. Like there's this is actually a good time.
And that's another thing too. The app could help people like not get so discouraged because depending on
Mhm.
what gym you come from, you may have a lot of students in it, and you might not be able to give much one-on-one time with your coach that you would like. And like if people feel like they're not progressing, they're not going to come. They
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
so that's a big deal for a lot of people. Our gym, we have a smaller jujitsu class where our gym is more striking oriented,
Hmm.
but so we get a lot of like one-on-one time and asking questions and stuff. But like I said earlier, sometimes, also your coaches only know what they know. They're not just because they're a black belt doesn't mean they know every single thing in jujitsu.
Sure.
You know,
Hmm.
right? Like 10th Planet, rubber guard, leg locks. My coaches don't really play rubber guard. Leg locks,
Hmm.
yes, but rubber guard, not really. So if you want to get good at rubber guard, they can help you with what they know. But
Hmm.
other than that, you're gonna have to watch some instructionals and then bring it back to them like, hey, this is what I learned. And then of course your coach is should be knowledgeable enough to help you with the finer details. But the
Hmm.
app gives great detail on every move you're gonna ask it.
Yeah, I mean I think what you said there was really, really interesting because it, our sort of goal with the app is not just to help you get better, but to introduce newer people into the sport, kind of give back to the sport, grow the sport, just like what PGF is trying to do. And I think
Mm.
what you said around just like how people tend to quit if they're not getting better. This is a good
Yeah.
way of just like help you find the right set of moves from day one, and also just like help you play around with other moves um depending on what's happening. Like we have this
Mm.
one of the latest features that we've gone live is like if you enter in with your training leg. I'm not sure if I showed this to you, Michael, but if you enter
I
in
don't
your
think so.
training leg, yeah, like you try to do a single leg, maybe they push back and you say, hey, single leg failed to go into deep half. It actually analyzes your entry and then gives you like a study plan. So like, hey,
Oh wow.
these are the gifts and I'll send you a link after. These are the gifts that you need to work on in order to improve those parts. Like for example, it could be that deep half to back take, right? Or it could be, having good head positioning when you're coming up on the single, or did various single leg finishes. So I think yeah, like it's such a great point. This can help you if maybe you are like one in if you are in a school of like one, 20, 30, 50 students and there's only one of them. You don't have that personalized
Yeah.
instruction.
And of course, it's no fault of the coach, but like
Yeah.
sometimes competitors are going to take priority over the hobbyist,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's just
That's
how it
just
is for almost every
mhm,
sport. That's usually how it goes. But for the hobbyist or even people out there who don't even train yet, because there's our
mhm,
people out there who always are like, "Oh, I don't want to do it because I don't know how to do it." Well, here you have no excuse now. You can get on the app,
mhm,
use your
mhm.
wife, use your kids, use your dog, whatever you got to
Right,
do.
right, right, right. You know
Get
what's
some
funny?
rounds
Like,
in.
no, this is a true story. So my fiance, she doesn't like me training with her at all, right? So like
Mm.
when I first told her like, hey, try out this AI app, like we're still tuning the model, like don't be too harsh on it. The first thing she asked was like, how do I stop? How do I prevent my fiance from training jujitsu with me? And the first the first gift it gave, I kid you not, was like grip breaking from like collar ties and shoulder ties.
Hey, at
And
least
this
it
is
knew. It was like
yeah,
you just got to get him away. Hand
exactly,
fight,
exactly,
hand
exactly.
fight.
Hand fight, hand fight. It's all the hand fight. Man, this has been a blast chatting with you, man. Again, I'm super just inspired by you. I hope that our listeners are just as inspired. I'm really excited to partner with you, sponsor you, man. Like there's
Mhm.
people
I
like you
appreciate that.
people like you are just the kinds of people that I think they're that can inspire more people like you to go up and as they go through the ranks. Um, yeah, man. Any sort of parting words for our audience, and then I'll ask you, where people can find you.
Uh, don't give up, man. Like there's gonna be days where you're the hammer and days when you're the nail. I think it was Jocko Wilco. He said sometimes you're the
Hmm.
hammer, sometimes you're the
Hmm.
nail, but they're both used to build.
Hmm.
Because there's still days I'll come in and white belts will submit to me. Like getting tapped in the gym is nothing. That's the important part is getting tapped in the gym. Because
Mm,
then you can go back and work on those. It's not like it's over. You're just gonna restart, you know. And then maybe the next round start in that position where you got submitted from and then work out of it, you know. Don't let your ego get the best of you.
beautifully said, man. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Michael. And where can people find you?
On Instagram, Michael_TCB 2032.
Let's go. Amazing, man. Excited to partner with you and take you to even greater heights, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that conversation, please consider liking and subscribing to support the channel. Check out what we're building. Click the link in the description. It'll take you right to the App Store so you can play around with our app. If you've had the chance to play around with the app and have any feedback for us, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.